Assalamu alaikum family. Today we're going to find out what?
Today we're going to find out what she thinks of a man.
Yeah, what a woman thinks of a man, and meanwhile we'll find out what a man thinks of a woman too.
Yeah.
So welcome family. Assalamu alaikum this beautiful day.
You're welcome.
Yes.
And what as a woman, kindly let us know in the comment section, what do you think of a man? Like generally, what is your perspective of a man? If you asked what is a man, what would you say?
And meanwhile, also men, let us know what is your perspective of a woman too. We want to try to know, is it important for a woman to know what a man's perspective is in certain issues, you know, in certain issues in life, and vice versa too.
We'll be able to talk about a few subtopics that we'll have for us to be able to differentiate the difference between these things. It's like we'll have dressing, men eating, like the habits that let's say for me, what she thinks about my dressing, what she thinks about my eating habits, what she thinks about something that is called toxic masculinity, and my spiritual well-being and maturity. We'll talk about those, and even from her side, I'll be able to talk about the same.
So, and then we'll try to know, is it really important for a woman to know a man's perspective when she's considering dress? Is it important to know how a man will think of? Is it important for me to know what Ian will think of how I dress when I'm considering how to dress? Things like that.
And in this our generation, it's quite important for us to be able to talk about such things. We'd love also for mostly our content, when we're creating it with the purpose of also our kids will be able to see. They'll be able to see this kind of conversations. So we really want them to, you know, like they'll be able to have a perspective of us at this age as well, what we used to think about these things as well. You know,
it's either you feed your children what they will know, or they will find out, they will end up knowing it from
the world,
the worst sources. And even for you, our young sisters and brothers out there, these are for you. These small ways of our life that we put out are for you guys who are starting out in life. Even we started out in life somewhere when we realized now this is real life. So we're trying to give you guys a few hacks that we used to help us through. So you don't have to fail like we did. You can learn from those and start somewhere further.
And that's the only way. If whatever knowledge we have to pass it down so that it can be passed down, because the knowledge we have, it was passed down to us.
You don't need to go through it again. We are here to go through it for you.
And that's why we evolve.
Dressing.
We'll start with the perspective of a woman in everything. So what, AANIQA, do you think about a man's dressing? And we're not talking about me, we're talking about a man. Like, what do you think about a man's dressing?
I think in general, as people, dressing, first of all, it's yourself. When you don't dress, everyone has to dress decently. That is my perspective. Whether you're a man, whether you're a woman, you must dress decently. Do not walk around in a way that will make the people around you uncomfortable, you know. Like as a man, if you're going to wear things that are hugging you so tight, sweatpants that are hugging you so tight, how do you expect your fellow younger sisters to feel when you're walking in a room, you know? Where do you want them to look? Do you want them to just look on the floor because that is how you've chosen out to come out? And same thing with women. For me as a woman, it's really important for men to dress decently. I think men assume that it's only for women to dress decently. No, even men, you must dress decently.
So what kind of dressing do you find indecent, and what kind of dressing do you find decent for men?
Any sort of exposure. We all have our personal body, right? So any mature person like you and me, Ian, who is behaving in a way that we're exposing our private body to the whole world, leave kids, we're not considering there's kids, there's adults, that is indecent dressing to me.
So let's say if I'm wearing a sweatpant and my private parts imprint is showing.
Yes, that is what I mean.
Like if I'm dressed like that, I'd not even be able to go and stand in front of my mother, to stand in front of my children. Or
that is disrespectful.
So like is a sweatpant a bad thing? Or you can get a size for you don't need men. They always say for women, get one size smaller. So for men, they need to get 2 sizes bigger.
Men, you know, men don't wear, it's not only for women not to wear tight things, men. I mean, when you're wearing those unnecessary things, I don't know what you expect. Like the same way you look at women and you wonder, what is this woman thinking? What are you thinking when you're walking out like that? We are also wondering, you know. Even for women, it's the same. Women who most of the time, and I'm sorry, my dear women, I'm going to speak out, but I see women who wear something tight and short. You'll keep pulling it down. What's the purpose of that? You yourself are not comfortable in how you're dressed. Why are you going out like that? If you're not comfortable, how do you expect me to feel when I'm sitting with my man and I'm seeing you're dressed in such indecent things and you're seated right in front of us? Let us earn our respect for ourselves. Then we wonder why do men mistreat women? Why do women mistreat men? It's caused by ourselves, not by anyone else. Yeah. What about you to do with women?
Dressing.
Yeah.
For me, a woman who I prefer a woman, when it comes to dressing, I prefer a woman who can be able to dress her mind. Her mind. If you can dress your mind, then your physical out character will also be showing a well-dressed human being. It won't ever matter, because sometimes someone might wear even something very inappropriate, but you can feel like they're covered. You know, like even for someone else, even a dress, they might feel like it's too giving. So if you understand.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, for some other men, dress might be too giving or something like that. So a woman who dresses her mind well, you begin by dressing your mind, understanding that you need to be able to filter out what goes in and what comes out, what we see. Actually, most of the dressing that you see is the mind. Yeah, it's the mind. When AANIQA leaves the house and she's dressed like this, then today she was feeling gold. That's why you can see all the gold. It's the mind. It'll show what the mind was thinking. Today you were feeling to dress up covered full. Yeah, today maybe I felt like having shorts for me. That's how.
For me, covering is really. I never used to wear my scarf throughout. That is, I've gone through the stages. So I'm not saying that I was clean. That is why I'm coming out, so that I can share with you, younger sisters, younger brothers. Even I've gone through that stage that I've regretted. What was I thinking when I went out like that? Like, was I really in my mind? That is why I want you guys to not reach that stage that you wonder, was I really in my mind? Be in your mind. So long as you dress in a way that you will never regret, you won't step out of the house and you'll be uncomfortable, then you're okay, you're good, yeah.
Yes. And kindly let us know in the comment section what are your thoughts on dressing, especially in our generation. Yeah, for me, dressing has to begin with the mind. I'll definitely need to see you, like the mind is what I'll see first. Even before I see your clothes or anything, I'll see your mind first. And mind, for me I put what is it called, a filter on my mind. So when I see you're coming with a negative mind, just know you're already filtered out. Yeah, some people say it's attitude or you're holding yourself to a high standard, but yeah, it's best I hold myself to a high standard so that the low standards can get to us.
Egyptian is saying hi.
Yeah. Niaje ko salama? Safi. Yeah. So next.
Yeah, next one. By the way, these are just our opinions, so don't take them so to heart. We're here to brainstorm. You guys share your opinions with us. These are ours. These are ours. These are what form us here. Eating habits. Men eating habits.
What do you think about men eating habits? Especially in our generation. And before we go on from there, we'd love to also remind you, we also have our MPESA, and our MPESA, when it's the name is AANIQA on the MPESA. It's my name, AANIQA Bucks, it's AANIQA's name.
It's my passport name, AANIQA Bucks. So if you find that name, don't run away. It's just me.
Yeah, it's AANIQA's name. We'll write the name also on the MPESA, so that when you're sending it, you can be able to know who it's going to. When just the number goes to AANIQA Bucks, it's her. We also have our PayPal. Kindly check it out. We've
written the exact spellings in the description down, so you can get the exact spelling.
Yeah, so don't hesitate to check them out and donate to us. Your donations are coming a long way to fund our start. So it's coming a long way. Yeah, so don't hesitate to donate. It's coming a long way for us.
Yes, so we're talking about eating. With eating, I don't have a lot to say, but one thing is that eating is an indulgence for anyone, So just the same way you work towards discipline with anything, when you see a man or a woman is excessively indulging in eating to a point that they can't control it, just like you said, that sells out where their mind is at. So the same way you have a discipline in everything, it's essential to have a discipline in eating as well. It's just the same. Like you have a discipline in how you carry yourself around, you have a discipline in how much time you spend on doing certain things. That's the same way you must have a discipline when it comes to
do you have a preference of food? How many times do you think a man should be eating in a day?
Those are the things, like I can't say like I can know what can be right for any certain person. I can't know, but so long as that person, what I can advise them or what I can say as my perspective is that you can know when a man is disciplined, and I can know your discipline. You, how you carry yourself out, you have 1 meal a day, right? You have a specific time past when you can eat. You won't eat before that time. That shows your discipline of your mind. So I can't say that I'm the one who told you to do that, right? You found out that was right for you. So the same way, you who wants to know, you just have to figure out what is right for you. I can't tell you, I can't tell you this is what will be right for you, or a woman wants you to eat 3 times a day, or a woman wants you to eat 1 time a day. No, just have your discipline, then you will be able to figure the right thing out for yourself.
And eating is health, so you make sure you eat as well.
Yeah, eat. That is the whole thing. Eating is health. So you can't come and tell someone don't eat, you know. Yeah, that's not the right way.
Yeah, but men's eating habits are custom. Yeah, your eating habits are custom, so you don't ever look for someone else. Customize your own eating habits. Yeah, figure yourself out.
Yeah.
For a woman, for me there is no 50-50 about that. You know, a woman is, for me, AANIQA is the one who's going to be carrying the baby. She's the one who does, you can say, you know, like in the house, she does more of the work, cleaning and all that, washing clothes. So she really needs to eat. A woman needs to eat every single hour of their life. Yeah, because I feel like women also eat in small quantities compared to men.
Yeah.
Men would sit down and eat a big quantity once.
Women like snacking, I believe. Like we like snacking on small things throughout the day.
Yeah. So I don't. For me, I don't really mind. As you've said, eating comes with a lot of discipline.
Yeah.
So if you're a disciplined mind, enjoy your food.
Yeah. Like you can be someone who eats 3 meals a day, but you know that you work out so much that you need those 3 meals a day. So you know what is right for you. Yeah. Just figure out what is it that your body requires from you. Then that way your discipline will just help. You'll just be happy. You'll be healthy. Yeah. Your body will not go out of shape that you will regret. Yeah.
Yeah. And while we're on eating, we can talk about eating for the mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about the kind of food us men we feed our mind?
Oh, right now it's very tricky, because right now I'm seeing, like, I don't know what you guys think, but I'm seeing like a lot of men. This is my perspective. A lot of men right now don't have their own decision. They don't have their own thing to say, you know. It's like this person said this, so a whole swarm will fly there, or because they said this, so we're going to do this. Another person says something. If another person will say something, this whole group will swarm to this side. They'll say, oh, now we're going to follow this. So I believe a lot of our youth right now, we've lost that ability to make our own decisions. That is my perspective.
So most of us men, let me use us so that you know that we don't single out anyone. So most of us men, the kind of like in this our generation, men are not being able to know what they're eating. They're just being fed, and that is mentally. Like their mind is being fed without them being conscious there is something that they're being fed.
Unfortunately, it's not just men, it's all our sisters and brothers are being fed. All of them, all of us. Even us, there was some point till we snapped and we woke up like, do we even know what we're watching? Do we even know what are we feeding ourselves? Yeah. So right now, I believe a lot of our young youth, and you know that happens at a young age. You can't blame young people, because you just step out of a life that you didn't know this is what you'll come to, and you're hit with the real life now. So you get confused, and when you're being fed by elders, by the people we depend on with this sort of things, you get confused. Yeah. So I believe right now they're being fed with, like, women are being told, oh, women, you're not feminine anymore. So women are starting to keep that in mind. We saw that, like, women are starting to say, oh yeah, I'm not feminine anymore, just accept me. No, that's not true. We are feminine and men are masculine. It's natural. That is how God made us. Yeah. However we are feminine. However men are, they are masculine. But we are being told that this is how we are, so we're believing that, and we're weakening ourselves, like we're taking ourselves out. And obviously how you present, how you treat yourself is how others will treat you. So if you treat yourself as a weak person, what do you expect the world to treat you as? Yeah.
A weak person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, even there's where we are toxic femininity and toxic masculinity.
Yeah, what do you think about toxic masculinity?
You since I answered this last one, you start for me with toxic femininity.
The word toxic and all that, it's so disgusting. They're just disgusting words to use. Just to begin with, those are disgusting words. They are not toxic feminism or toxic masculinity. There's feminism and there's masculinity. When that toxic thing word comes, now there comes from what we're talking about, what you're feeding your mind. Yeah, most of the content, most of the information we are feeding our mind nowadays, it's toxic. So that brings a toxic
feminism.
Yeah, now that's where that comes from. For me, for AANIQA, she's a feminine.
Yeah, I'm feminine.
You're saying the word is hard for me. Feminism.
Yeah, feminine.
Yeah.
Feminine.
Yeah, feminine. She's feminine. So when she enters in a platform, let's say Instagram or TikTok or whatever, and she starts indulging in this kind of content that is toxic, now we get that toxic feminism. Yeah. But it's basically what you keep feeding your mind in time. You know, if I come and dump that here today, we won't say this place is toxic. We can be able to clean. But if I do this every single day, it'll become toxic. It'll become, even the environment around it won't be able to grow. You know, there'll be nothing growing around it. That's basically what we're feeding our mind on a daily basis. And the funny thing is that you who is watching us are not even aware you're being fed this kind of food.
That's the worst part.
You're not aware you're being fed this kind of food. So for there is nothing like toxic. Just watch what you're feeding your mind. Know that in this era, the era that we're living in, the era of internet, it's the internet is what is it called? This yin yang.
Yeah.
Yin yang. The internet.
It has a good and a bad.
It has a good and a bad. And you're the one to choose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just know you're the one to choose. It's no one is going to come and make that decision.
Yeah.
Especially now with your phone, no one will ever know what you're scrolling on your phone. Make sure, Kai, if you're scrolling and you see something you do not want to see, remove it.
And remember that your subconscious swallows, so you might think that, oh, let me just watch this thing one time. It'll not, no, your subconscious is going to swallow that one thing you've watched, and it'll form your life.
And it'll start forming over it. It's like a seed.
And you know what your mind thinks, if you've ever had this stress,
these are
how is it your mind is but a thinking glass? How is that quote of James Allen?
Your mind is but a looking glass to the world.
Yeah, like your mind is a looking glass, meaning whatever your mind is thinking is what we see your life through.
Exactly.
Like when you're in a glass, that is what your life is, what your mind is thinking. So you might think that these thoughts are in your mind, but when you act outside, we see, so this is what this person has been watching, so this is what this person does. So every time, feed yourself what you want to become. If you want to become a successful person, feed yourself successful things. Go watch successful things. Go watch people making it. Things like that. They will help you, yeah.
So what do you think about toxic masculinity?
I don't think there's anything like toxic masculinity. There's masculinity and femininity. There's male and there's female. It's as simple as that. If you're masculine, you're masculine. If you're feminine, you're feminine. I don't think that we were ever put in a term that we have to tag a woman as too feminine or less feminine. There was never like that. We don't have to tag a man as too masculine or less masculine. A man is masculine. We've always seen a man as a man. We've always seen a woman as a woman, and there's where it ends. To us, there's just a man and a woman. That's it, yeah.
Simple.
Almost thought you guys were faint after eating something.
No.
Spirituality.
Spirituality. What do you think? Should a man be spiritual?
Being spiritual is just being one with yourself, being one with every part of yourself, being one with your mental, being one with your physical, being one with your heart. So yes, it's important for a man to be spiritual. I don't say it's important for a man to be religious, but it's important for a man to know what their beliefs are, where they stand in the world, you know. Not like I told you, having a weak mind that when someone tells you something, you follow it like that. You must have your own perspective of things. Yeah. What do you think? Yeah.
For me, I'll just go for it, man. Women, for me, my perspective in spiritual with women, first of all, our women nowadays, they've lost that spirituality. We don't have anything like spirituality
there's
nowadays.
not there anymore.
Yeah, but we really need to have a spiritual awakening in you. A spiritual awakening doesn't have to do with God or religion and all that. It's once you align yourself with the universe, you're spiritually aligned.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to align yourself and
Be one.
be one. If you're lost spiritually, you're lost.
Yeah. And one thing that happens is when you're one with the universe, when you're awake to your spiritual self, then you will realize why things happen to you. When you trip down, you won't blame it on God. You will realize, I stepped on a stone, that is why I tripped. All right, next time I will walk more careful. So it's really essential for you to align with yourself in every man of life. Yeah.
When you're going through good situation, tough situations, when you're aligned with that tough situation, it tends to pass quicker.
It will give you the solution. Yeah.
That's why when you're in a good feeling, it passes quicker because you've aligned with that good feeling.
You're not denying it.
Yeah, you know, oh, after this is this, you know, it's a good feeling and a good feeling. So it's aligned. It goes in a snap. That's why you need to align yourself even with the bad situations.
Yeah, they'll go fast. Yeah.
And you align yourself in your spiritual self.
And like Ian told you guys, that bad situation is only a cause and effect result. So if there's something you definitely did that has an effect, you must go back and look for what it is. That will always help you get the solution faster. Yeah. Last one is maturity.
Yeah, maturity.
Okay,
yeah,
maturity.
Let's begin with, at what age do you think a man matures? At what age do you think a man matures? Then we'll see and what quantifies maturity. Yeah,
that's
like
what I was going to
say. What would make us say this one is mature, this one is less mature, and maybe they're the same age. Yeah, what, you know.
So maturity, like, there's at every age you have a certain level of maturity for that age. You understand? Like, you can be a 5-year-old and you're mature to what you're supposed to be mature to that age. And you can be a 5-year-old and you're pretending like you don't know anything that you should be knowing as a 5-year-old. Same way, you can be a 20-year-old and you can be very mature, you know, because that is how you are. You grow, your maturity always grows. But you can be a 20-year-old at the same time who is acting like a child. It's not recording.
It is, but it's so